Good morning, everybody. This is one of my favorite slots. This is Thrive in Spirit, and I am here with the lovely Leisha Jarrett. Now, Leisha is a psychic, intuitive, spiritual coach, and so many more things. One of the things that I really believe assists us in moving through this process is arming ourselves with the right knowledge and the right support systems in order to just go, oh, okay, I'm not alone with that, or oh, okay, that's normal for somebody besides me. But today our focus is going to be on how to manifest in the fifth dimension.
And it's an interesting topic, manifestation in the new paradigm, and that we are going through a profound evolution on the planet right now. A lot of activation, a lot of emotional purging. It is an intense time. We're all experiencing it on different levels, and we're coming into higher levels of our consciousness, which means we're coming into higher levels of accessing our truth. The more that we come into the fifth dimension or the new earth, the more that we're guided by our higher self is to connect to our soul essence.
So I think that is so profound on so many levels. Like, do you have beliefs? I'm sure all of you know your beliefs that you feel hold you back from being in a state of ease or being in a state of happiness. There's a shift now to just connecting with your soul self. Good morning, everybody. I am here today and I'm really, really excited because this is one of my favorite slots. This is Thrive in Spirit, and I am here with the lovely Leisha Jarrett. Now, Leisha is a psychic, intuitive, spiritual coach, and so many more things. I don't know how to actually get everything that Leisha does into one kind of sentence that encapsulates it all. But I have been working with Leisha now for 2 years, and they have been absolutely profound and essential, I feel, in my spiritual evolution and my spiritual growth and my personal growth as well, because at the end of the day, we are spiritual beings, and we're here going through a physical experience. And so it's not just our spiritual evolution, but that affects everything that we're going through in this manifested reality. So for those of you that are tuning in, welcome. And I just want to welcome Leisha, and then I will acknowledge you all. So Leisha, how are you doing today?
Hello, Susanna. Hello, everyone. Wonderful. Great.
Good. I know there have been a lot of shifts happening for so many of you, and don't worry, you're not alone. We are feeling them as well, and there's been ups and there's been downs, and there's been major release going on this planet, and it affects individuals differently. So please don't feel, I know I ask a lot of times, are you feeling this or are you feeling that? We're all individuals, and we're going to feel things and experience things in individual ways. But one of the things that I really believe assists us in moving through this process is arming ourselves with the right knowledge and the right support systems in order to just go, oh, okay, I'm not alone with that, or oh, okay, that's normal for somebody besides me. And this is where Leisha comes in for me specifically. I know that I'm constantly sending her messages and just dipping into her wonderful support group as well. She's got a membership program for like-minded souls. Many of you that are tuned in will also be these like-minded souls. And whether you're tuned in live or whether you're listening to a recording of this, there's no coincidence in life, and you're receiving this information at the exact right time. And so I get a lot of support going into that group and going, I'm going through this at the moment. What are you guys feeling? And just being able to talk to people who understand the journey. So I see there's people tuning in from all over the world. Good morning, Ingrid, Yasha, Anton, Doreen, Ilza, Official Yoga, Naturally Bronwyn, so many of you. I'm sorry if I don't mention everybody, but I do welcome you here today. Please do comment below if you know about the shift between the fourth and the fifth dimension. Leisha and I have covered that before. If you don't, I will put the links and you can go and watch our previous interviews, conversations around that. But today our focus is going to be on how to manifest in the fifth dimension. And I actually shared with Leisha that, in the fourth dimension, it was like this for me. I could manifest quite instantly. I knew how that worked. And now things are shifting and changing for me, and I'm not quite sure how to do it. And so I wanted to chat to Leisha about this. I'm the eternal student. So I'm always, as my inquisitive mind learns, I share it with you guys. So Leisha, maybe if you can frame the question on a little bit more of a broader
Sure,
basis,
absolutely.
so that people can understand.
I think we're all eternal students. And I just like to share my perspective, really, and, offer that to people to take what resonates and, leave the rest. There's always often just a key message that comes through when we listen to webinars and talks. And I just encourage people to just listen with their heart and take what feels right for them today. And it's an interesting topic, manifestation in the new paradigm. And like you said, Susanna, we have had some discussions about the fourth and the fifth dimension moving into what we could also call the new earth, the new paradigm. There's lots of language that describes this evolutionary time of humanity. And it doesn't matter what language you use. It all means the same thing, that we are going through a profound evolution on the planet right now. A lot of activation, a lot of emotional purging. It is an intense time. We're all experiencing it on different levels. And we all know about the coronavirus event that is still unfolding. And there's other events on the planet right now that are intense as well, creating emotions and reactions. So it's interesting that we're talking about, creativity really, and manifestation, which from my perspective really ultimately means talking about truth. So let me put it this way. When I call it the fourth dimension or the old paradigm, and they really are dimensions, we are very much landing and anchoring only now, very recently on the planet, into what's called the fifth dimension. And it really is a different reality. We're coming into higher levels of our consciousness, which means we're coming into higher levels of accessing our truth. For example, in the fourth dimension, we're very governed by duality. It is a constant oscillation between the polarities, between lack versus abundance, for instance, versus I feel worthy of abundance to I don't feel worthy of abundance. And we're, in every instance, in every paradigm, we are constantly juggling and oscillating and moving between duality. And that is the premise of the dimension. The fourth dimension is all about duality. And we come into duality to learn through contrast, what I have and what I don't have, what I feel and what I don't feel, and what is the opposite. So we kind of get thrown around. It's a challenging dimension. And we do learn through suffering and obstacle, a lot of the time. So, some people do say this, Susanna. I've heard people say, oh, I am such a good manifester, or I'm not. Which is a really interesting, perception that people have.
Yeah.
And I used to be able to manifest, some people say. But you see, the thing is, in the fourth dimension, because we have this opportunity to learn through struggle and difficulty and negativity, as well as positivity, light and ease. Often what we end up doing is manifesting. I mean, even that word we need to let go of, really. We end up manifesting or creating things we don't want. That's just as easy.
It's drawing things towards us, isn't it? And the reality is, so many people are scared of that, specifically people who are very in touch with their emotions and their mind, because then they can draw things towards themselves quite quickly, and it can be the wrong things, or the things they didn't actually want, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, nothing's wrong, because all our creations bring a lesson and a growth path, but there can be struggle versus ease, within that to a large degree. I think it's really good to point out that from my perspective, there is a lot of falsity in the kind of new age manifestation kind of teachings, if you like. There's a lot of focus, on guard your thoughts and be mindful. And that can kind of translate into a disempowering, fear-based mentality, actually, where people do kind of get confused about what they think they're manifesting or what they're not. And like you said, afraid of what they're magnetizing or not. And this can actually contract somebody's energetic field and kind of contract their being into confusion and disempowerment, because all of their kind of belief system or focus or efforting goes on their thoughts create reality. And that is true. Absolutely. Our thoughts, our emotions, all of our creative energy do contribute to creating our reality for sure. But something that's more powerful that I want people to think about and take away from this call is the more that we come into the fifth dimension or the new earth, the more that we're guided by our higher self is to connect to our soul essence. And, people may have heard the term soul embodiment. This is a more common term more recently in spiritual arenas, which really means embodying more of the true self, because we can go through life a little disconnected to our soul presence and our soul essence. And we can make choices from a place of discord and confusion and wounding, which is the lower levels of our being. Not right or wrong, they're learning paths, but they are the lower levels of our being. And as we evolve and expand, we reach into and embody, which means hold in our physical mind, body consciousness, our higher levels, higher consciousness and our soul essence, which is actually where our truth is. That's where our truth is held. It's in the soul. So creating, I'm trying to move away from the word manifesting, but I use it because that's what we all kind of are familiar with. Manifesting. We want to be able to let go of this fourth dimensional kind of manifest mode and relax into opening to allowing our soul truth to emerge within us, because that power and that truth has a resonance, which has a magnetism, which draws in and shifts the quantum field to create what is true for us. And I mean, you can do affirmations and put Post-it notes all over the house till you're blue in the face. But if you're trying to create something that actually is not in alignment to your truth, then you're contracting your being. You're contracting your creative potential. And that's the key that I want people to understand. Manifesting is not a skill. It's not something you learn how to do. Manifesting is about letting go of the lower levels, being willing to heal the density, like our wounds and our limitations, our emotional charge, and connecting more to what's actually really true for us.
So I think that is so profound on so many levels, specifically for someone like me. And I don't know, I would love to hear from you guys if you feel the same. Like when Leisha was talking about the fact that, when we scared, it can take us into a negative thing. Like something funny, like I find it funny. I have to find humor in things, guys, because otherwise things get too serious. But like I stopped listening to sad love songs, because I would go, how sometimes you listen to one of those snot cry songs that are just so like great to cry to. But then I would be like in a happy relationship, and then I'd listen to the song and I'd be like, oh, no, what if I'm going to draw that emotion into my relationship? And inevitably I would. And this was at a time where I was very much manifesting within or attracting to myself within the fourth dimension. And I've been doing so much work on just getting into alignment with myself and just getting to a place of releasing any attachment to wounds that I have, like so many of you have. Like, do you have beliefs? I'm sure all of you know your beliefs that you feel hold you back from being in a state of ease or being in a state of happiness, and things that, thought patterns, those things. Give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about, just so that I know that you guys are following the conversation. Give me a thumbs up. And please let me know what country you guys are tuning in from, because I always love that. I know that I can see that London is in the house, and South Africa is definitely in, and New Zealand. So there's a couple of different countries tuning in, which is absolutely great. And my lovely man, as I was saying, that brought me a rose to put on my desk. Blessings coming in from every side. But just let me know. Of course, I hear you. Okay, great. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So we get stuck in this this idea, and it becomes a headspace thing, that what we think about and what we then activate with emotion is what we will manifest in life, which is what we've been taught by programs like The Secret and so many other things. And of course, that was very much our reality in the fourth dimension. But what you're saying is that there's a shift now to just connecting with your soul self. And purely by being in that vibration, it will attract naturally, without effort, what your soul truly desires. Am I understanding?
Absolutely. Yes. And it is a shift, because we have been very used to being conditioned with the mind and feeling like things do require effort, even though there's teachings out there that, say it's effortless. But your example was really good about, being scared of manifesting sadness in your relationship by listening to a sad song. And see, this is where the negativity creeps in, and people become afraid of their emotions, because the fear of the emotion is what contracts you, not the emotion. So emotions are a pure state of release. And when we truly honor them in our authenticity and rawness, and we feel anger and we feel fear and we just allow it, emotion's like a wave. It moves through our being when we allow it and we process it. If we deny our emotions, it's the same as our negative thoughts. If we're afraid of them and we are having negative thoughts and we kind of just, no, I'm not going to have that thought and I'm going to distract. What we're actually doing is repressing. We're repressing thought forms. We're repressing emotions. What we need to do is welcome them and open up and just be curious from a place of neutrality. Wow, interesting. Wow, interesting. Let it move. Let it move. Cry, move, do whatever you need to do to move the energy, because it's not static. It wants to move through you and heal and process. When we do that, we expand. And what we also do is create space for soul embodiment. And that's when more of our truth will come in. I've got another really great example, because this comes up a lot and I see this so often. Where people will try and manifest a partner, and they will actually write a list of things down. And I want this, and they must be that, and this and that, and this and that. And often when people really review that list, there are things on that list that they've written down as a reaction to a wound. So if somebody's been unreliable in your life, and they've let you down, you might put reliability down. They must be reliable with this new person. And
I've done this, Leisha. How many of you guys have done this? Give me a face like that.
Must be reliable, must be trustworthy. Perhaps you've had a betrayal or, an infidelity or something. And so what you're doing is contracting and enabling a wound, because you're not just truly feeling, wow, I'm actually still afraid or hurt by infidelity, distrust, and being let down, and just processing that emotion. Do not put that on your list, because that's projecting your wound, you see? And so I'm not a fan of lists. I think they distract us and they engage the mind and the ego. And it's really difficult to get a sense of, well, what is really true? How about you just said, I call in and I am open to the beloved that's most in alignment for me, from my highest soul truth. Could it be that simple? Could it be one sentence which doesn't engage the mind, the wounded self, the distorted self, or discords? You actually just let go. And in that one sentence, you're trusting that your higher self knows and your soul knows what you need and what is true and right and high resonance for you. And that is how you create. That is how you open to what's really in alignment for you.
Sure. That is it's one of those truth bombs. When something just lands. I call in what is in the highest alignment for me, and you can put anything you want in between there, guys, if you think about it, if there's an area of your life. So I know for me, one of the shifts that's happened over the last sort of few years is that I no longer go, oh, I want this and this and this and this in my life. I go, I want to feel like this. I want to experience ease. I want to, and those are the things I am calling in. So of course I've still got goals. Of course I still, have started this platform in order to reach as many of you as possible and be able to share knowledge and empower as many people as possible. But my attachment my attachment isn't to creating something of a physical nature. It's more the feeling and the wonder and the experience that you guys will get. That's what I'm kind of looking for. So it's wonderful that you phrased it like that. And I love that you spoke about lists, because I was so a list person growing up, and it's something that has been spoken about by so many teachers and coaches throughout history, and so this is a huge shift, and I can see people are going, wow, light bulb moment. So they get what we're talking about here, because when you phrased it like that, there was definitely a light bulb moment that went off for me. Is there something else that people should understand that we haven't spoken about yet? Because I know we are running out of time, but is there anything else that you want to just add before we leave? Guys, give me a thumbs up or a light bulb or a heart if you got that light bulb moment, because I definitely did, and I can see some of you did. But do that. And whether you're watching live or whether you're watching a recording, please tag your friends below that will benefit from this light bulb moment, because this is about sharing the knowledge that's going to empower you and your friends, family, distant cousins, and everybody else. So Leisha, sorry, let me go back to you if there's one more thing to add.
I think it's perfect timing that this discussion is happening on Earth right now, because we are accelerated. And what I've seen in my client group and in my personal work with people is that we're being reoriented. Our internal navigation is moving, and we are being forced actually to collapse and let go of the false directions, the ego-based desires, and lists aren't entirely bad, but the point is to question that list, really look at that list, and is there anything on it that's a reaction to something you've experienced, and let it go. So this reorientation is coming through now, because we are being asked to live lives that are more in alignment to our truth and our true soul direction. So what that also means then is that it's easier to access our truth than ever before. In duality, when we're living in a duality-based reality, we go in and out all the time, light and dark, positive, negative. That's the journey. That's the choice. But as we come into the fifth, that's not really, we don't need the contrast. We don't need to have the struggle, strife, sacrifice all the time, constantly as a contrast. So we're being asked to go into higher energies of growth, which do become easier. They're not easier necessarily yet. We are all in an intense time, but we are collapsing our wounds more easily. We are releasing more rapidly. We're feeling more deeply. And that is a clearing, that is a cleansing process that is actually purifying across the globe, which creates more space, as I mentioned, for soul embodiment. So I think the other message then for people in this conversation is to make that their focus. What is your truth? What is that? We don't know all the time. We know part of our truth, but becoming our true nature as more enlightened, more evolved beings is about becoming truthful with ourselves, becoming our true selves. And that's a journey, but we've got to be willing to let go of the falsity, the masks, the facades, hanging on to people and activities and outlets and choices that actually aren't our truth, that aren't in alignment. No right or wrong, no judgment, but there is a force or a request or an opportunity or even a push, I would say, from our higher self to move in this direction of truth. When we do that, our creative capacity and our magnetism just takes off. And we do just create what we want, because what we want is what is true for us. We don't want what is untrue anymore. And we have to own that.
So as you're saying that, I've got somebody tuning in saying, practically, how does one get to that point of really knowing your truth, your purpose? Like, what are the practical steps you would take? And guys, if you do have any questions, we've got about 6 minutes left. You can type your questions below.
The first thing you've got to do is decide that that's what you want. It's as simple as that. The fifth dimension is not about formulas and techniques and modalities and steps. It's actually about choice. Do you want to be in your truth? If that is so, just say that to the universe, to the quantum field, to your higher self, to your guides. Just say that. You will actually get guided to everything that you need practically, because it's different for everyone. You know, you might get guided to a healer or to a workshop. There might be something you need to do to embody the truth. But the first thing is you've got to make a choice. The fifth dimension is all about choice. You have to choose that you want to evolve and that you want to be in your truth. That is ultimately the first and only and most powerful step that's needed. And then you've got to be willing to feel your emotions and move through whatever healing's appropriate for you to clear the space inside you. And that can happen with healers, with practitioners, with workshops. It's so individual. What you need, you have to trust that it'll show up for you, and you will know that your self-navigation and your ability to know and care for yourself will switch on when you make that choice. The third thing is you've got to be willing to take action. So what actions do you need to take to change things when you become more connected to your truth? What do you have to let go of? What do you have to say no to? You know, are there chemicals and addictions and substances still in your life? Are there toxic relationships? Are you still doing stuff because it's habit? It's not good or bad. It's just not inspiring you anymore. We have to be willing to let go. So this internal navigation that is really wanting to reorient right now has a way to do that that's powerful for you.
Yeah, sure. You know, while you're speaking, because I'm going through this, guys, just so that you know, like, I am heavily going through this. I've been purging so many wounds, and so many things have been surfacing. And one of the collective things that has come up, and I mentioned this to Leisha, was the receiving, the giving and receiving, and the misunderstanding about giving and receiving within the fifth dimension. And so before we finish, I just wanted to touch on that with you, Leisha, because I think that those are very actionable, great things to look at. So I feel like you guys have gotten something that you can really dive into, and of course, look back on the conversations that Leisha and I have had, because there's a lot of information, if you've just tuned in now, that will support and broaden your understanding of what we are discussing in this conversation now. So look back through my videos and check that out. But I do want to just clarify the giving and receiving, because a lot of people are feeling stuck in the, I've lost my job, I don't have income, you know, where is my giving and receiving? Where are my limits? You know, what are my boundaries? What is the new...
This is actually a really good point, because this is one of the collapse points that's occurring globally right now through collective consciousness. It's also one of the core wounds that's currently being integrated, healed and integrated through conscious beings, is this idea of giving and receiving. And we've talked about this before, Susanna, you and I, where in duality, everything's governed by separation. We're separate. And so the idea of giving and receiving is separate. You're either giving or receiving. They're two different things. And somebody might say, oh, I'm just a giver, I'm not good at receiving. You know, it creates this separation that they're two separate experiences. And that's actually an illusion. As we come more into fifth dimension and truth, what we are embodying is that giving and receiving happen simultaneously, and they're actually the same thing. When you're in a state of truth, or more connected to your truth, your resonance changes, your embodiment changes. The energy that you give off to the field is giving. It's giving. And automatically, inadvertently, you start receiving simultaneously. So it just starts to occur. So this idea of giving versus receiving starts to collapse. And, you know, the fifth dimension is all about unity consciousness. Everything coexists and is unified. They're not separate anymore. So we give and receive at the same time. The key is it truthful? So if you are in a state of truth and you're genuinely giving to a client or a friend or a person because you want to, then you're automatically receiving in that moment life force, sustenance, inspiration, and that will translate to physical supports, money, opportunities, and so on, because you're in a truthful vibration. If you're giving to someone something and you don't really want to be doing that, you contract. That's not actually a giving, and it's not a receiving, because you won't feel nurtured and nourished by it. And this is where, is what I mean by the push. We're being kind of gently but strongly pushed into asking, is this true for me? Am I doing things still because I think I have to? That's a lack. That's a contraction reality. And you will feel depleted and resentful if that's the case. But if you're starting to shift, and this doesn't have to happen overnight, this is an awakening, this is a realizing over time where you're being untrue to yourself. It's not about anybody else. Why are you doing what you do? Is it because you think you have to and you've got to be spiritual and good and all this stuff? Or is it genuinely because it inspires you and makes you feel expanded? It must make you feel expanded. That is what's true. So yeah, it's interesting that we're collapsing that old paradigm, and this whole discussion of giving and receiving is changing now on the planet. I'll just add one more practical thing in. If people do want to go a bit deeper into this, I do have a free mini course that's part of my membership. It's a bonus actually inside my membership portal. It's an add-on that I've included, and I go into this in more detail in a video, and then there's 3 audios that people use to help them collapse what we're talking about, these patterns, these programs that are not useful and actually false, and to bring in more of this choice intention to create a magnetism that is real and in alignment to your soul truth.
I've been doing that just so that everybody knows for the past, what's my 4th week now, actually doing the meditations that come with it. And I've really loved it. It's been great. I've missed 1 or 2 days, and then I've just jumped back in it and carried on. And I found it so comforting. And I think that's the thing, is like, I realized that it actually doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life and where you are, what stage you are in your life. It matters how you feel about it. And so nurturing yourself, your emotions, your feelings, honoring them. Leisha spoke earlier on, when you go, oh, I'm not going to think that thought, or oh, I'm not going to look at that aspect, you're denying a part of yourself, which means you're not embracing your full and whole, complete self. And the only way to, and I use the term heal loosely here, but the only way to kind of progress, expand beyond that contraction is by embracing every aspect of yourself, because then it is released. It is no longer stuck in that contracted state of being. And so I've loved it, Leisha. I've loved doing the course. That's why I'm doing it again. Leisha recommends it for 21 days. And I've just continued because I feel like I'm heavily I'm feeling it very strongly going through this shift at the moment. And so many of you out there will be as well. I'm getting beautiful notes coming through here. Me too. This is such an inspiring talk and so spot on. Being willing to let go is so simple, yet the hardest thing to do sometimes. Absolutely, Doreen. Yasha, love this concept on giving and receiving. Very profound. I'm trying to get to all your comments, but I know there's a lot of them, and some of you just wave, wow, crying face, hands and heart, choice. As simple as that, to just start, just choose. And it is as simple as that. And I think that a lot of people do get stuck in the complications of it. I loved just Leisha's points for today, guys, on manifesting, attracting towards yourself in the 5th dimension. I'm just going to recap them quickly. Decide, make the choice that is your path, that is what you want to do, and then call in for support, because the universe is listening. Your guides are listening. The angels are listening, whatever it is to you. Because whether you believe in God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, whatever it is, your higher self is connected to all that is connected to that which you call God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, whatever it is. Connect there, you will be supported. Feel the emotions, purge them, allow them to be released from your wounds. Just allow yourself, give yourself the respect and the honor to feel whatever it is you need to feel. And I know that can be hard sometimes. I battle with it sometimes as well. And then take action. Actually take action. Take the steps you need in order to gain the support to move through whatever it is that you are needing to move through. And I know that that can also be very difficult, because there are certain wounds that I'm working with that I know what I need to do, and something in me is just not yet mobilized or ready to do it yet. And so I'm working on mobilizing that aspect of myself. So you're not alone, guys. You are very much with the collective. We are all going through this on different levels, in different intensities. And that doesn't make anyone bigger or better or more spiritual or less spiritual. It's just the human experience. We experience it in different ways. So it's just gone 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. But every day at 11 o'clock, I howl 3 times to say thank you to the essential workers that have kept us going through this time, and to just make people feel that vibration of joy and say thank you, thank you, thank you. And you can be thanking for your life, for the food that you are able to eat, for the nourishment, for this knowledge that has just been presented to you, that has given so many light bulb moments that I can see in the comments. So I hope you guys will join me. 1, 2, 3. Oh!
Hello. Blessings, everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's my daily ritual. Leisha, thank you so much for your time and your energy and for joining us. It's been an absolute honor and privilege, as always, to have you here with me on this platform.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. And blessings, everyone. Thanks, Susanna.
Thank you, Leisha. And so, guys, I am part of Leisha's monthly membership. I will post a link for you guys if you want to join. I am busy setting up landing pages that will have all the information. But if you just click on this link, all the information about the membership program is there. And it has truly enriched my life. And that is why I'm telling you guys about it, because it comes from an authentic place of empowerment. This has empowered me in so many different ways. And I want to thank you all for tuning in from all over the world. I know some of you are tuning in very late at night and very early in the morning. So thank you so much. And please remember to share this video with your friends and family, anyone that you think would get something from this information, or just tag them in the comments below so that they can watch it. And love and blessings to you all. Bye for now.